Let's get right into it. Number 11. Unlucky floor numbers save lives. Hospitals in Asia are literally saving lives by being superstitious about numbers. In many Asian languages, the word for 4 sounds almost exactly like the word for death. Because of this, a lot of Asian hospitals just straight up pretend the 4th floor doesn't exist. You get in the elevator, and it goes 1, 2, 3, definitely not 4, 5. But this silly superstition is actually working. The theory is that these renamed floors actually have fewer medical errors than normal floors. It's not because the number 4 is actually cursed. It's because when staff work on these weirdly numbered floors, they get super paranoid about messing up. You're a nurse working on floor 3A. Every time you see that weird floor number, it reminds you that you're working in a special area. So you double-check everything. You triple-check your medications. You quadruple-check your patient charts. The hospital staff know they're working on what should be the death floor. So they become hyper-aware of everything they do. By trying to avoid death-related numbers, they're actually preventing deaths. Number 10. Navajo ghost fear blocked Hantavirus. So picture this. It's the early 1990s in the Four Corners region, and people are dropping dead from a mysterious illness. The CDC was scrambling to figure out what was going on. Turns out, it was a deadly virus spread by mouse droppings, but the Navajo people had way fewer cases than expected. And it's all thanks to their fear of ghosts. The Navajo have this ancient belief that you shouldn't mess with abandoned houses or dead people's stuff. They believe these places are haunted by spirits, and disturbing them brings bad luck. But those abandoned buildings are basically 5-star hotels for mice, and those mice were leaving their virus-filled droppings everywhere. When people disturb these droppings, like during cleaning, the virus gets into the air. But because the Navajo were avoiding these haunted places, they weren't breathing in all that contaminated dust. Their fear of angry spirits literally kept them from inhaling deadly virus particles. The CDC actually confirmed this in their studies. Areas where people avoided haunted places had fewer cases of the virus. Number 9. Korean fan death prevents freezing. So there's this wild belief in South Korea that sleeping with an electric fan on will kill you. Sounds crazy, right? Like something your grandma would say to get you to save electricity. But this crazy belief might have actually saved lives. When you're sleeping, your body temperature naturally drops. For most people, that's fine. But for older folks or people with health issues, it can be a problem. Add a fan blasting cold air all night, and suddenly Grandpa's bedroom turns into a makeshift freezer. Scientists have actually found that in sealed rooms, fans can drop your body temperature to dangerous levels. So what did the Koreans do? They started putting timers on their fans. Now, every fan sold in South Korea comes with a warning label and a built-in timer. The timer shuts the fan off after a few hours, just when things might start getting too chilly. So while everyone was laughing at Koreans for being superstitious, they were accidentally preventing hypothermia. Number 8. Jinn incense saved from suffocation. Imagine living in ancient Middle East, burning incense to keep evil spirits called jinn away. Sounds like a silly superstition, right? Well, this silly belief actually saved countless lives. While you're trying to ward off these invisible spirits, you're actually saving yourself from a different invisible killer. Back then, people used oil lamps and open fires inside their homes. These things pump out carbon monoxide, a gas that's basically the ninja assassin of the chemical world. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it, but people believed incense only worked if the room was well ventilated, so they'd open all their windows and doors before lighting it. They thought the jinn would get trapped if there wasn't enough ventilation, but what they were really doing was letting out all that deadly carbon monoxide. They accidentally discovered home ventilation while trying to ghost-proof their houses. The architecture of their homes even evolved around this belief. High ceilings, multiple windows, and large courtyards weren't just for show. They were built this way to make sure the incense smoke could properly escape, and all those deadly gases from their fires and lamps escaped with it. Number 7. Kosher laws killed parasites. Back in medieval times, eating pork was basically playing Russian roulette with your intestines. There was this nasty little parasite hiding in pork called Trichinella spiralis that could turn your insides into its personal vacation home. If you ate infected meat, you'd get trichinosis, a disease that could send you to an early grave. But Jewish communities almost never got trichinosis, because their religious laws said no pork allowed. The rule was simple. If an animal doesn't chew its cud and have split hooves, it's off the menu. Pigs have the split hooves part down, but they're not big on the whole chewing cud thing. So while everyone else was playing, "Will this pork kill me?" The Jewish communities were sitting there like, nah, we're good. Medieval doctors must have been scratching their heads. They're seeing all these people getting sick from this mystery meat disease. But the Jewish neighborhoods were healthy as can be. It's like they had some sort of medieval VIP pass to skip the whole parasite party. Number 6. Sacred cows stopped anthrax. Ancient Indians accidentally discovered how to fight a deadly disease by being really nice to cows. Anthrax is this nasty bacteria that lives in the soil and loves to hang out in dead animal carcasses. When cattle get slaughtered and their bodies aren't handled properly, anthrax spreads everywhere. But in India, cows were considered sacred. Instead of ending up in someone's burger, these holy cows got to live out their full lives in special retirement homes called gaushalas. When they eventually died of old age, their bodies were handled super carefully as part of religious rituals. This slow, natural process meant those nasty anthrax spores couldn't spread as easily. In places where cattle were regularly slaughtered, anthrax would spread like wildfire. But in India, this careful treatment of cows created an accidental shield against the disease. These ancient Indians didn't know anything about bacteria or spores. They were just trying to be respectful to their sacred cows. But their superstition ended up saving countless lives. Number 5. Evil eye amulets. Imagine you're a baby in ancient times. No antibiotics, no hospitals, just a world full of germs trying to kill you. But your mom puts this shiny blue amulet around your neck. She thinks it's protecting you from evil spirits and jealous neighbors. But here's the crazy part. It actually was protecting you. These amulets were often made with silver and copper, and these metals are natural bacteria killers. It's like having a tiny germ assassin hanging around your neck. Scientists today use these same metals in hospitals to fight infections. So while ancient moms thought they were fighting off the evil eye, they were actually fighting off something way more dangerous: bacteria. These amulets were basically ancient hand sanitizers. It's like accidentally discovering penicillin, except instead of moldy bread, it was shiny jewelry. They were doing germ control before they even knew germs existed. Number 4. Chopstick taboos stopped germs. In Japan, there's this rule about never passing food directly from your chopsticks to someone else's chopsticks. Back then, it's a major taboo because of its link to funeral rituals. But turns out, these people were accidentally being health geniuses. When you pass food chopstick to chopstick, you're basically creating a saliva highway between two people. It's like indirect kissing, but with the added bonus of tooth decay and gum disease. Your mouth isn't exactly the cleanest place in the world. It's like a tiny party town for bacteria. Modern scientists found that in places where people regularly share utensils, oral infections spread faster than gossip in a small town. But in Japan, where this chopstick rule was strict, people were accidentally protecting themselves. Instead of passing food directly, they would place it on a plate first. So these people were practicing germ theory hundreds of years long before microscopes were even a thing. They thought they were just avoiding bad luck, but they were actually avoiding bad bacteria. Number 3. Breaking mirrors saved medieval lives. So you know that old saying about breaking a mirror bringing 7 years of bad luck? Turns out it wasn't just superstitious nonsense. This was actually a lifesaver. Medieval mirrors weren't made like the ones we have today. Back then, they used mercury to make mirrors reflective. These things were basically mercury bombs waiting to go off. When these mirrors broke, they didn't just create sharp pieces of glass. They released toxic mercury vapor that could literally melt your brain. Mercury poisoning causes tremors, memory loss, and can straight up kill you. But people back then had no idea about mercury poisoning. They just knew that weird things happened to people who messed with broken mirrors. So this new danger got tied to the old 7 years bad luck story. It was basically their version of a hazard warning label. Instead of danger toxic, they went with, touch this, and your soul is cursed. And it worked better than any modern warning label. People would avoid broken mirrors like they were cursed. They even came up with these weird rituals like throwing salt over their shoulder or spinning in circles, which, when you think about it, was probably safer than trying to pick up mercury-coated glass with your bare hands. Medieval people accidentally invented hazmat procedures without knowing what hazmat was. Number 2. Feng Shui rules that actually improved air quality. Those ancient Chinese Feng Shui masters weren't just being picky about where you put your couch. They were accidentally creating the world's first air purification system. Scientists recently discovered something wild about these ancient rules. When you follow traditional Feng Shui furniture placement, indoor air pollutants drop by up to 40%. That's like having a high-tech air filter except it's just your couch and coffee table in the right spots. Feng Shui says never block the path of qi, or energy flow. They believed bad spirits would get trapped if you put big furniture near doors or windows. Turns out they weren't trapping evil spirits. They were trapping something way more real, polluted air. When you keep doorways and windows clear like Feng Shui suggests, you create what scientists call an air corridor. Think of it like a highway for fresh air to come in and nasty air to get out. So while people back then thought they were avoiding bad luck, they were actually avoiding bad lungs. They were dodging all sorts of nasty stuff like dust and toxic compounds that build up in stagnant air. Number 1. The unclean left-hand rule. So there's this rule in many parts of the world where you never, ever eat with your left hand. People think it's just some weird old superstition, like not walking under ladders. But this silly rule actually saved countless lives throughout history. Your left hand is strictly for bathroom business only. Your right hand is for eating, greeting people, and everything else that's not gross. Back before we knew about germs, cholera was basically the Grim Reaper's favorite hobby. This nasty disease spreads when tiny bits of poop get into your mouth, and cholera doesn't mess around. It can kill you within hours. But places where people followed this left-hand, right-hand rule had way fewer cholera outbreaks. It's like these cultures accidentally invented hand hygiene protocols before science even knew what germs were. If everyone at a feast is eating with their right hand only, and keeping their bathroom hand away from the food, you've basically created a human firewall against poop particles. The World Health Organization actually found that areas still following this rule today have fewer cases of diseases spread through poop. These people were living in the future, while everyone else was dying from preventable diseases. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.